Hello, welcome to the European Open briefing for Monday, November the 7th. I'm Rafi Boyadjian, currency analyst at xm.com, and we're going to be looking at the latest developments in the currency markets today. So we have positive risk sentiment in financial markets this morning. This comes after the FBI announced that it is not pressing charges against Hillary Clinton following its announcement that it had reopened the email investigations. Yesterday, the FBI said that it has found no new evidence against Hillary Clinton, so its original assessment hasn't changed, and this has boosted financial markets because, as we know, Donald Trump is not favored by the markets because of the uncertainty of his policies. So as a result, we saw the Mexican peso jump over 2%. We also saw the Canadian dollar move away from 8 months lows it had hit on Friday, and of course safe havens such as the yen and the Swiss franc are in retreat today. Surprisingly, the Australian dollar is rather flat despite the risk appetite. It's been weighed slightly by weak construction data. And in other news, we have oil bouncing higher today after OPEC today said it's reaffirming its commitment to cut oil output. So let's start with the dollar and the US elections. We can see that the dollar index has recovered, and as we just mentioned, the FBI has said it's closing its investigations into Hillary Clinton's emails. We had seen a bit of a risk-off sentiment last week because of the tightening polls between Trump and Clinton, and that had made traders very nervous ahead of the election, which is tomorrow in the US. And if you look at the related currencies, we can see here the Mexican peso in green. Well, this is the dollar versus the Mexican peso is down. So the Mexican peso is up 2% versus the dollar. The dollar is also down against the Canadian dollar, although it has rebounded somewhat against the Canadian dollar. So, but we had seen the loonie hit an 8-month low on Friday, so it's still off its lows, even though the dollar has rebounded partially against the loonie. If you look at the gold, we can see gold is back below $1,300, and also the Swiss franc. The Swiss franc had gained rather a lot last week on the prospects of a Trump win. The dollar is back more than 1% higher against the Swiss franc, above 0.97 francs. Now against the yen, we can see that it's back above 104 yen, currently around 104.50 yen. The yen is also down sharply against risk currencies such as the Aussie loonie and the Kiwi. It's down around 1% against those currencies. And let's not forget the jobs data on Friday. We had the non-farm payrolls for October, which showed the US economy added 161,000 jobs in October versus forecasts of 175,000. We also had signs that wage growth is picking up as annual average earnings reached the highest since 2009. So overall, we had positive data for the US, plus of course the developments with the US elections. So that's boosted the dollar firmly back above 104 yen. The Australian dollar, we can see in orange, it's fairly flat. We had the AIG Construction Activity Index out this morning, which showed the index was down to 45.9 from 51.4. That was the sharpest deterioration in 20 months, and that's slightly weighing on the Aussie, which is currently around 0.7685. The Kiwi, the New Zealand dollar, did reach a 6-week high earlier today of 0.7359, although it's dropped back now to around 0.7295. We do have, of course, on Thursday the central bank meeting for the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, where they are expected to cut rates, so that could also be weighing on the Kiwi. If we look at oil, we can see that dip on Friday. On Friday, we had some reports that Saudi Arabia and Iran are arguing about, how much they're going to cut, or if Iran should participate. It was reported that Saudi Arabia had threatened to raise production if Iran did not participate in the deal. But today we had the Secretary General of OPEC saying that the group is committed to a deal made in Algiers in September, and of course we've got the another OPEC meeting at the end of this month, where some kind of a deal is expected, and this helped US crude rise back above 45 just below $45 a barrel. If you look at European currencies, both the euro and the pound are under pressure today. We have some new political developments happening in the UK, which is also weighing on sterling. On last week, sterling soared above $1.25. It's back below $1.24 today, and this is because although the news that the High Court in the UK had initially they had blocked the government's attempts to trigger Article 50 without a vote in Parliament. That had initially boosted markets. Now it seems to be developing to creating fresh uncertainty regarding Brexit and how that's going to play out. And that's weighing on the currency today. That's why it's below $1.24. And of course, we have the stronger dollar, which is also pressuring both the euro and the pound. Now the rest of the day is looking fairly quiet. We've got the Eurozone Centix index coming up, as well as the Eurozone retail sales. We don't have much data in the US session ahead of the elections, of course, tomorrow. We did have some German industrial orders, which were much weaker than expected, and it also weighed on the euro this morning. And then early in we just had the Halifax house prices in the UK, which were much stronger, although that didn't do much to boost sterling. And then, of course, early in the day, we did have the AIG construction index out of Australia. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.